When Musa left Kiana for a 23-year-old model, her world fell apart in a single night. 10 years of love, trust, and dreams disappeared just like that. She cried until there were no tears left, but somewhere deep inside, a small spark refused to die. That spark became her strength. She poured all her pain into her work, turning her tiny flower shop into a luxury wedding design company. Her hands, once trembling with heartbreak, now created beauty that people paid fortunes for. Months later, one morning, an order came in for a grand wedding, under the name Mr. Musa di Lamini. Kiana's lips curved into a quiet smile. Her team had no idea who he was. She worked on that wedding herself, choosing every rose, every petal, every detail with care. When the big day arrived, Musa and his young bride entered the hall, surrounded by breathtaking flowers and soft music. The air smelled of lilies and triumph. Above them, shining under the lights, was the golden logo, Kiana Bloom Designs. Musa's smile vanished as he looked around, realizing whose hands had created his perfect day. Kiana stood in the distance, her eyes calm, not with sadness but with peace and victory. Kiana cried for weeks after Musa left her. She couldn't believe that the man she had loved for so many years could walk away so easily, leaving her for someone younger. Every night she lay in bed, holding her wedding ring so tightly it cut into her skin. The pain was heavy, like a stone sitting on her chest. She stopped eating, stopped smiling, and some days she couldn't even get out of bed. But one morning she saw the flowers in her shop, wilting, waiting for her care, and something inside her shifted. Flowers had always been her peace, and she decided to start again, one bloom at a time. She began creating floral designs late into the night, using colors and patterns that expressed what words couldn't. She started posting pictures online, never thinking anyone would notice. But people did. Her art spread across social media like sunlight after rain. Soon, wedding planners, celebrities, and magazines were calling her. Within 2 years, her business was one of the most wanted in the city. Her shop was now a place of magic, filled with life, laughter, and dreams she once thought were gone forever. Then, one morning, her assistant brought her an order for a large, high-profile wedding. The names on the form made her pause. Di Laminientially. For a second she just stared, then smiled. It was Musa and the woman he left her for. The same girl who had once called Kiana old-fashioned was now getting married in a garden Kiana herself would design. Fate had a strange sense of humor. On the day of the wedding, the venue looked like a dream. Guests gasped when they saw the thousands of tulips and roses covering the arch, the glowing pathways, the soft colors that turned everything into a fairy tale. Cameras flashed and everyone praised the beauty. But behind the altar, hidden in plain sight, was a message made from white roses. Only one person noticed it, Musa. The words read, "Some flowers grow stronger after the storm." Kiana stood far away, watching quietly. Her eyes didn't hold pain anymore, only peace. The man who once broke her heart was now surrounded by her art. The same flowers that healed her pain had told her story. When Musa walked out of Kiana's life, it felt like the whole world turned its back on her too. Friends stopped calling, neighbors whispered, and people who once admired her now looked at her with pity. She became invisible, a shadow of the woman she used to be. But Kiana learned something powerful in that silence. Being unseen gave her time to grow. She stopped explaining, stopped defending herself, and started building quietly. Every night while others slept, she studied business, design, and marketing. Every day she worked small jobs, met clients, built connections, and learned how the world of luxury events worked. Slowly her company began to rise, built not on luck or love but on pure strength. Years later, her event company, Kiana Events, became one of the most requested in the city. Her name traveled through whispers again, but this time in admiration. Then one morning, she received a message for a massive luxury wedding. Budget unlimited, perfection required. It was the kind of job that could define a career. She didn't think twice. She took it. On the day of setup, Kiana arrived quietly, wrapped in a scarf and sunglasses, her team rushing around her. She wanted to see the details herself. As she adjusted a floral arch, laughter echoed across the room. She turned and froze for half a second. It was Musa, older now but still charming. He was laughing with his new bride, looking so proud, so sure of himself. Kiana took a slow breath, straightened her back, and continued her work. No one recognized her. She was just the woman behind the beauty, the woman in the shadows. As the ceremony ended, the lights dimmed and Musa stood to make a toast. "To new beginnings," he said proudly, raising his glass. Then the fireworks began. The sky lit up in brilliant color and the guests gasped in awe. Among the bursts of light, a name appeared, glowing against the night sky: Kiana Events. The crowd cheered, clapping for the artistry. Musa's smile froze, his hand trembling slightly as he realized who had designed his perfect wedding. Kiana turned quietly, her heels clicking against the marble floor, each step echoing like victory. She didn't need revenge. Her success had already spoken for her. The day Musa left, Kiana felt her world crash. She begged him to stay, to think about the home they had built together, but he only smirked and said, "You'll never be more than a florist." Those words cut deeper than any knife. For weeks she couldn't sleep. She cried until her eyes swelled, trying to understand how love could turn so cruel. People whispered behind her back, and every time she walked past the market, someone would say, "Poor Kiana, her husband left her for someone younger." But pain, over time, became her fire. She decided if she was just a florist, she would become the best one the world had ever seen. She worked harder than ever before. She took small orders, delivered flowers herself, and saved every cent. Slowly, her shop began to grow. Clients came back again and again, enchanted by her elegant designs. Within a few years, she opened new branches, each one grander than the last. Her business became a name everyone in the city knew: Kiana Bloom Designs. What started as heartbreak had turned into a blooming empire. One morning, her assistant walked in with a big smile. "We just got a major booking," she said. "A luxury planner wants us for a high-profile wedding." Kiana nodded, flipping through the papers. But then her eyes stopped on a name that made her heart skip. The groom, Musa Di Lamini. For a moment, she went completely still. Then she closed the file and said calmly, "Let's make it perfect." On the wedding day, the venue sparkled with beauty. Roses, lilies, orchids, every flower looked like it had been kissed by light. Guests walked in, gasping at the magic around them. And there, on every wall and arch, was her golden logo, Kiana Bloom Designs. When Musa saw it, his face went pale. The same woman he once mocked had created the masterpiece that made his wedding unforgettable. The next morning, magazines were filled with headlines praising the brilliant florist behind the city's most elegant wedding. Musa's new wife proudly tagged Kiana's brand on social media, unaware of the story behind it. The world celebrated Kiana, and Musa could only watch as the woman he once underestimated became the one everyone admired. When Musa left Kiana, he didn't just break her heart, he broke her spirit. He flaunted his new, younger girlfriend on social media, posting pictures with captions like "Finally found real love." In interviews and parties, he called Kiana too old and too boring. People laughed, shared gossip, and some even pitied her. She felt humiliated, empty, and forgotten. For weeks, she barely left her bed. But one morning, she looked at her dusty flower shop, the place where her dreams once lived, and something inside her snapped. She decided she would never let anyone make her feel small again. She started over with nothing but her skills and determination. Day after day, she worked with her bare hands, arranging flowers until her fingers ached. She studied colors, learned design, and created floral art so stunning that people couldn't look away. Slowly, clients started calling. Weddings, events, parties, everyone wanted her touch. Her small business grew, then exploded. Soon, her company was designing for billionaires, politicians, and even royal families. Her name became a symbol of beauty, grace, and quiet power. Years later, fate decided to have its laugh. Her assistant walked in with a smile and said, "We've been booked for a very special wedding." Big client. Huge budget. Kiana nodded, flipping through the order form. But when her eyes fell on the name, Musa di Lamini, she froze for a second. Then she smiled. "Let's make it unforgettable," she said softly. On the wedding day, the venue looked like a dream. Roses draped from the ceiling, lilies lined the aisles, and soft golden lights made the whole room glow. Guests gasped in awe. The bride beamed, telling everyone, "We hired the best florist in the city. She's a genius." Kiana watched from the shadows, calm and graceful, her heart steady. She didn't need to be seen, her work spoke for her. When the event ended, her phone buzzed. The payment had cleared. Kiana smiled quietly. Every insult, every cruel word Musa had once thrown at her had just paid for her next business expansion. The same hands he once hurt had built the beauty that surrounded him. He destroyed her once, but she rebuilt herself into something he could never touch again. When Musa betrayed Kiana, it wasn't just heartbreak, it was humiliation. He didn't leave quietly. He called her a phase, as if their years together were just a mistake. He took his new, younger girlfriend to the same cafes they used to love, the same beach where he once promised her forever. People whispered, and every photo of him smiling beside his new love felt like another knife in Kiana's chest. But she refused to fight back. She refused to beg. Instead, she went silent. She poured her pain into her work and rebuilt her life in the quiet corners of her flower shop. Every morning she opened the doors early, arranging blooms with shaking hands that slowly grew steady again. She worked harder than ever, learning everything about design, color, and beauty. Flowers became her language, her way of healing. 2 years passed, and her little shop grew into a full company known for its elegance and class. Her name, once buried under gossip, started appearing in magazines and event catalogs. People called her work magical, and her phone never stopped ringing. Then one morning, the city buzzed with news, a grand celebrity wedding, the biggest event of the year. Kiana didn't think much of it at first, until she saw the broadcast on TV. Her floral arch, her centerpieces, her designs, her company name shining on every banner. She smiled as she realized this was Musa's wedding. The world praised her work. Reporters called her a visionary. Guests couldn't stop talking about how breathtaking the setup was. Kiana stayed in her office that day, watching quietly, sipping her tea. That night, as the celebrations ended, her phone rang. The number was familiar. Musa's voice trembled through the line. "Did you know it was my wedding?" he asked softly. Kiana looked at the glowing city outside her window and smiled. "Yes," she said. "I sent the flowers myself." And before he could speak again, she hung up. She turned back to her desk, where the paid invoice sat waiting. His wedding had funded her new branch. The same man who once destroyed her had unknowingly helped her grow. Roses don't forget, and neither did she. Kiana used to believe in love. Every flower she arranged told someone's story, a story of hope, promise, and forever. But when Musa left her, everything she believed in shattered. He didn't just walk away. He replaced her with someone younger and flaunted it like a trophy. The laughter, the whispers, the pictures online, they all crushed her spirit. For a while, she couldn't even touch a rose without shaking. The very thing she loved most reminded her of everything she had lost. But pain has a strange way of shaping people. Kiana slowly turned her heartbreak into strength. She spent long nights in her shop, arranging flowers until her fingers ached and her eyes burned from tears. Her sadness became art. Her designs began to speak louder than words. People started to notice the elegance, the emotion, the perfection in every petal. Orders came in faster than she could handle. Her small flower shop grew into a name whispered in elite circles, where everyone wanted a piece of her beauty. One afternoon, a luxury wedding planner called her in a panic. "We need a full floral setup," they said. "Money is no issue, just make it unforgettable." Kiana agreed, ready for another challenge. But when she received the final details, her heart skipped. The groom's name was Musa di Lamini. For a moment, she froze. Then a calm smile spread across her face. "Let's make it beautiful," she whispered. On the wedding day, the venue glowed like something out of a dream. Roses, lilies, and orchids filled the air with a sweet scent. The guests whispered, taking photos of the breathtaking arrangements. The bride twirled in happiness, completely unaware of who had designed her fairy tale. Kiana stood at the back of the hall, unseen, watching everything with quiet pride. Then, as Musa lifted his new wife for a picture beneath the flower arch, his eyes caught something, tiny silver ribbons tied to every bouquet. He leaned closer and read the words printed neatly across them, "Bloomed by Kiana." In that moment, his smile faded. Kiana turned and walked away, her heart steady and calm. The same hands he once broke had built the beauty surrounding him. Her revenge wasn't loud. It was elegant, poetic, and unforgettable. When Musa left, he didn't just break Kiana's heart. He left her drowning in debt and shame. The rent was overdue, her shop was nearly empty, and people whispered behind her back. While he showed off his younger bride online, calling her his fresh start, Kiana stayed quiet. She didn't argue, didn't beg, didn't post a single word. Instead, she worked. Every day she woke before sunrise, arranging flowers, learning design, and chasing clients who didn't even know her name. Slowly, her silence turned into strength, her pain into power. Months passed, and her business began to bloom. Her floral designs started appearing at luxury events, celebrity weddings, and high-profile galas. Her name, Kiana Bloom Designs, became a symbol of elegance. Then one morning, her assistant walked in, grinning. "You won't believe who just booked us," she said. The name on the order made Kiana's heart skip, Musa Dlamini, her ex. Without hesitation, Kiana said, "Let's make it beautiful." The wedding became the event of the year. Photos flooded the internet. Roses, orchids, lights, perfection everywhere. Everyone praised the angelic decor, not realizing it was designed by the woman Musa once abandoned. That night his new wife posted, "The perfect wedding designed by angels." Kiana smiled as she scrolled through the photos, a glass of wine in her hand. Her assistant asked softly, "Should I send them the invoice?" Kiana laughed. "Already done," she said. "Love always costs something."